Welcome to our continued study of my book, The Natural Moral Law. I'm Dr. Owen Anderson, and I'm a professor of philosophy and religious studies at Arizona State University. And we're looking, as I said, at my book, and we're right now in the introduction. And we're looking at various attempts to disconnect the good and law, and to somehow define law apart from the concept of the good. And right now we're going to look at the idea that law is prediction in Oliver Wendell Holmes. He's a significant American lawyer, legal professor, judge, and in his The Path of Law, he says, the object of our study then is prediction, the prediction of the incidence of the public force through the instrumentality of the courts. Or law is what a judge says it is. So if you're a legal student, some of this talk about the good and what is real, this seems very disconnected from what you're going to actually be doing. What you're going to actually be doing is trying to win a case. And whoever wins, whoever the judge or jury says is the winner in the outcome, well, that is done. And then you might have to go on and appeal it and see who wins that case. But the idea that we have to figure out what the good is, all this could seem fine for philosophers, but that's not what lawyers do. And so this is a kind of American pragmatism coming down to us in Oliver Wendell Holmes, William James, C.S. Peirce. This philosophy says truth is what works. And as a lawyer, someone might say, I just want to know what works. What will get me the victory I want in the court? That's pragmatism. And you can think about how that is influenced in many different areas of life. People saying, well, this is my truth. And what they mean by this is my truth is this is what works for me. And what they mean by that is this is what satisfies me. And what they mean by that is this is what I think is good. So you see, we haven't really escaped this view of the good. We're right back to it. What works for me is what I believe is good. But our beliefs about what is good could be mistaken. So just because I think it now doesn't mean it's accurate, and doesn't mean I'll believe it in 10 minutes even. I might change my mind. What we want is truth, actual knowledge about what is good, understanding of what is good, because then that's immovable. I'll have it for good. It'll be permanent. It won't go away. So this idea that this works for me doesn't actually get us out of needing to know what is good. Now, there is the practical reality of what a judge in a given court case might decide, but that doesn't help me know if that decision is just, or might remind you of the previous section in the introduction about positivism and H.L.A. Hart's idea that there's this general concept of justice that guides law, and that is there, right? We want to say not every law is just. And it's not merely the mechanism by which a law is passed. Like if it goes through these right steps, then it's a just law. Instead, we say it has to be corresponding to this idea of what justice is, or what is good. So we're still needing to get back to the good, and behind the good is the nature of things. The good presupposes the nature of things and what is real. And one of the objections to that in the modern world, one of the reasons why pragmatism is popular, is it seems like it can help us avoid endless arguments about superstitions. And the modern world wants to replace wars of religion with something that works successfully, and not let us get back into wars of religion again, like what ended the medieval world after the Reformation. But that doesn't yet help us. All that is to say is that if everyone accepts skepticism, we'll all get along. So it hasn't really solved any problems. It's just said the obvious, which is that if we all get along, or we all agree, we'll all get along. But why should we accept that skepticism? And why should we think that pragmatism, the pragmatism of Oliver Wendell Holmes, will satisfy me? What satisfies him may not satisfy me. And so we're still left with disagreements, just like we had during the wars of religion. We still have to figure out what actually is good. In order to do that, we still have to figure out what is human nature. What is the nature of a human? So we haven't yet made progress with pragmatism. Law is not simply what the judge decides. That might be the immediate circumstances of a given lawyer and their trial, but it hasn't helped us yet figure out what it is to be a good human and what it is to pursue the highest good. So we're still seeing that law and the good must be connected, and we don't have to assume skepticism. See you next time.